morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner on Tuesday the 1st. And sorry, yes, I was down in Cornwall for the last few days, but I'm back now in the office and pleased to say that we have decided as a firm to slap 25% tariffs on anybody doing trade with VSA from going forward, because this is how the way forward, isn't it, Ollie?
Ha, ha, ha.
All right, we're not. It's a bit of a weak April Fool's joke, but, you know. I think we'd be out of business pretty quick if we did that, because I don't think our competitors will. Anyway, hopefully that's brought a little smile to one or two faces. You never know. It is April the 1st. The sun's shining. It's wonderful. Right, we've got a few news items this morning, haven't we? Why don't we start off with our favourite tungsten miner in the world? And my goodness me, every day I look at this, I think it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But it's EQ Resources.
Yes, they have announced some changes to the leadership team. It had been flagged a couple of months ago that Kevin McNeil was going to transition from CEO to CTO. Obviously, he was brought in to overhead the sort of technical aspects of the turnaround and make Mount Carbine and then Soloro work with his specialist skill set in ore sorting. Obviously, you can see that that's been very successful with the production ramp-ups over the last 18 months at both operations. But now with two operating mines, plans to acquire a downstream asset, and the group generally being much larger, this is the right time for Kevin to be able to focus on the operational side of things and bring in someone new to oversee the whole group. For the moment, the non-exec chairman, Oliver Kleinhempel, is going to take an interim executive chairman role until the right person can be found to do that on a full time basis. Obviously, Oliver is heavily involved with Cronymet, the tungsten trader, and has been non-exec chair for EQ for some time now, since its formation, so knows the assets really well and is an absolute expert on the tungsten market.
Yeah, look, I mean, you're absolutely right. And by the way, I suppose people know I've been around quite a few tungsten mines in my time. There's no question out in my mind that Kevin knows how to run a tungsten mine better than anybody else in the world. He is the best tungsten miner out there. As you can tell, I'm quite positive. Anyway, moving Ollie. Moving Ollie. We're not moving you anywhere, Ollie, don't worry. Moving on, Ollie. Chilwa has had a little bit of news, I think.
Yes, they have done some MET testing on a 4.2 ton sample from across, made up of samples from across the resource area. So that's showing very good value ratios. So the sands looking the best of the three stratigraphies that were sampled, with a very VHM content of 90%, of which about 76% was ilmenite, 9.5% was zircon, 1.4% was rutile, and 1.6% garnet. The company's put a bit of a ranking together, but using the original mineral resource, and that shows that they've got using this data, they've got a very strong mineral assemblage compared to the rest of the peer group. But they're going to move up the curve in terms of the grade and size of the resource when the upgrade comes out later this year, as we saw those drilling results last year, which had some exceptional results in them. So those aren't in this data set. The mineral assemblage is obviously there, but not the size and grade of the the resource with that latest data. One other interesting point to mention is that there's a monazite grade of 2 to 3%. And if you look at base resources, which was acquired last year, that was acquired really just for a monazite component by a uranium company, and the grade there was about 2%. So that could make it quite an interesting resource.
Yeah, again, I mean, the thing about Chilwa is it's, for want of a better word, part of the Luso Global stable, and it's well worth following all of the stocks within that stable because they are a very good sort of shareholder to have on your side. So worth mentioning that. Then finally, Ollie, let's just quickly talk. Tectonic had interims today. Obviously, Tectonic at the moment are going through a deal with Godolphin Exploration down in Cornwall to become the renamed Tamar Resources. But I think, I'll let you talk a little bit about Tectonic. It's worth noting that obviously they do in it point out where they've got a lot of cash potentially to come in from their holding in Kazira and also their Specimen Hill assets. So maybe quickly talk through that one, Ollie.
Yeah, and actually there was a Specimen Hill update yesterday, so now we know exactly where that is. The farming partner, White Energy, have now completed their first $1 million spend, which gets them up to 51% ownership. With a further $1 million of spending, they can acquire an additional 25%, and then for the balance of the project, they will give TTAU $2 million in cash, and Tectonic will receive a 3% NSR in perpetuity. So you've got that potential cash coming in at some point in the future. There's about $119,000 in the business at the moment, and then for the sale of the South African assets, they received $150,000 and shares in Kazira Global, which currently are worth about £475,000. So quite a pool of liquid assets or marketable assets on the balance sheet there.
And Kazira actually had an announcement this morning as well, so they'd shipped their first 10,000 tons, which was greater than they had anticipated. So Kazira itself is going well, and that stake could go up in value. I mean, we're in a bit of a mining bull market. It's just you are seeing stocks absolutely fly. So that will produce quite a lot of cash, which can then be used to drill down in Cornwall to get some great drilling results. And also, of course, they do still own Mount Cassidy, which is quite similar to Specimen Hill, and they could play the same trick there and bring in a lot of cash that way as well. So a very interesting situation. Sadly, the market probably won't take much notice of it today because unfortunately Tectonic has become quite a niche little company, and until we've got this deal completed, I suspect that not enough people will really look at what's going on there. But say la vie, that's the stock market for you. Anything else, Ollie? You've got it today, though.
I think that's it.
Very good. We'll speak again tomorrow, probably. Thanks.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.